Today's lesson, we're talking egos. That's right. We're talking egos in this one. Now, I go into egos on other lessons that I teach. In fact, we talk about roles and know your role and what have you. Egos come into play on that one too. But egos, let's talk about the 500-pound gorilla in the room. Egos. Who's got them? Well, by now, if you've been announcing for a little while like with me, then you do develop a little bit of an ego because you've been doing it for a while. And let's face it, if people tell you you're good at something and they tell you this for a very long period of time, you almost start believing it yourself. Okay? Firsthand, I'm telling you now. But egos can actually hurt you so much when it comes to delivering the job that you're there to do. Egos, let's just face it, can get right in the way. They can be ugly. It's bad for you. It doesn't make for a better job. And when it comes down to announcing, your job one is to deliver. Deliver the goods, man. Come out there and announce, fight the good fight, do an amazing job, make people talk about you for years to come, and they want to hire you and they want you to come back out and work for them every single year. Drop the egos, man. A lot of egos flying around, and you get hired to do a job, let's say, right? Let's say you're hired to go announce something, and they hire another guy who's probably got 10 more years of announcing experience on you, and he's coming to do the job too. You think that dude doesn't have an ego? He's going to have an ego. And if you've been doing it for a little while, you probably have a little bit of an ego, and you may not even realize you have an ego. Like, well, I'm going to do this part, and he could adjust his show to what I'm going to do. If you're out there and two people are actually having to work together, let's say you're doing bands, you're introducing bands, you're in an event, and there's two people on the mic, okay? Well, this person might be announcing longer than you. They're going to have an ego, and they're going to want to kind of run the show. Maybe you've been doing it long enough that you have an ego, and you want to run the show. Well, you got to get to a point where someone's got to be the person to work together with the other person. Because if you fight for mic time and it's a competition of who's going to talk more than the other guy, then that's going to make a lopsided event. It's going to make a bad event. It's basically going to get you axed, and you're not going to get hired to do the job again because people are just going to remember that it was nothing memorable about it. It just was part of something that didn't need to be. So the egos, you got to check the egos. You got to leave the egos out the door. Your job, complement each other, right? Sounds good? Complement each other, okay? Not like, oh, wow, that's a really nice pair of pants you have. Oh, that's a nice hat you're wearing, sir. Oh, I love that watch. Is that a nice watch? Yes, that's a very nice watch. Compliment, not compliment. Compliment announcing styles. So my announcing style is supposed to be make the guy next to me, who's the other announcer, make him even better because your styles work together. If he's a guy who wants to start at the beginning and then end the competition, well, okay, then you can fill the middle. Okay, don't fight for the last thing to say. Don't fight for the first thing to say. Because if you're fighting to say something at all during announcing, it's going to show in your work. It's going to look bad. So that's the ego thing. Drop the egos at the door, but know your roles. Like that's another class that I teach. You got to know your roles and what you're expected to do, and that way develop what you're going to do, develop what your fellow announcer is going to do. Okay. And if you're announcing by yourself, definitely check the ego. Nobody wants some person on stage who's more about themselves than the event. That's another lesson in itself. Make it about the event. Don't make it about you. So that's a whole nother thing that you got to adjust to what you do on that. So it's very important. Leave the egos. Check the egos at the door. All right, this is a good one too. When it comes down to it, now you're dealing with another person, and this person comes out strong, and they're just talking, and they're just not giving you a chance to talk. You got to say something. I recently did a major event, a huge event, where I was working with somebody. I did the English language, he did a different language, and I would talk, he would talk, but he started talking more and more, where I would have less and less time to say what I needed to say. So finally, I looked over to him, I go, we need to share the microphone 50-50. We had to talk about it. This is what has to happen. And then it worked. But if I didn't say anything about it, then I'm just going to sit there and just get upset. Just like, oh, why is he doing this? Why is he doing this? But I need to make sure that I fix it. So knowing the roles and then knowing who talks when and try to share the time. All right. Don't over talk. You're not getting paid by the word, man. Okay? If you're getting paid by the word, then I recommend talk. Be a nonstop talking machine that can talk until sun up, sunset, doesn't matter, all in between, okay? But you're not getting paid by the word. So try to find ways to say things in the least amount of time. Don't get too wordy, because nobody wants a wordy person on the mic, especially if there's things going on at the event and there's other things to look at. You don't want to be that wordy person that takes you so long to finish what you're saying. So be quick about it. Be able to be concise, get in, get out, make it concise, okay? That's very important when it comes to just not talking the whole entire way through like I'm doing right this second. Tame your fame, then you can tame your talent. So if you have an ego, check the ego at the door, calm it down, find out your roles, work together as a team, delivering the number one job, and that's to do a professional job on the microphone. That's it. That's your number one job. That's what you're hired to. You're not hired to battle another guy because you have a bigger ego and you've announced 10 more years than him or she, and she's announced 5 more years than you, and so she needs more talk time. Like, balance that right off the bat, put it in check, talk your roles through it, and that way you're not in the middle of that struggle for airtime. I mean, the number one goal, work together. It takes teamwork to make the dream work. And if you're out there on the ship all by yourself, you're not going to make it happen. But if you work together and you use everyone's strengths to complete the job and you check the egos out the door, boom, you're going to win every single time. That's your lesson on egos.